So my buddy says to me, wouldn't it be cool if we could take this electric trike that kind of has a moto feel to it and give it suspension so it didn't suck so bad when we rode it around? And I said, yeah, it doesn't just need suspension. I said, it needs a 252 stroke. That's what it needs. You know, freaking big, huge power, a lot of smoke and revving noise. It'd be amazing. He says, no, we can't do that. You can't use a gas engine at these shows that he goes to. Some of these real high-end car shows, you know, and they don't want anything with an engine. Plus, it kind of disturbs the peaceful atmosphere of these, you know, fancy vehicles and whatever. So it's got to stay electric. I will make it faster, but not yet. I've only got a couple of days to do this, and the goal was to get it comfortable. The thing is literally like riding a brick. While you ride it, it's bone jarring, and it's cheap, you know, Chinese junk, and it's fairly fast. It's fast enough for cruising around a car park. So what I did was I was like, man, let me get a KX80 or an 85, you know, and I'll take the suspension off of that. Well, I couldn't find one that, you know, was cheap enough. So what I did was I found this one, which is a CRF150R. This is the raced version. Now this one's a few years old and it's got its own little host of problems, but the parts that I need are good. The triple clamps, front wheel, forks, bars, the shock, swing arm, all of that is going to get integrated into this thing. Now, as most of you know, I've raced motocross for, you know, the better part of 2 decades now, and this particular bike was very important, and the reason that it was important is it's one of the first smaller displacement 4-stroke engines that was allowed to race against the 85 class, your CR85s, your KX85s, KTM, you know. This was a 4-stroke, and it was revolutionary in that it made 35 horsepower in stock form. Nobody really left them stock, and for a small kid or a young guy, these things hauled ass. When the smaller classes finally got their arrival into the 4-stroke modern technology world back then, I can't believe it's been, you know, over 10 years now since 4-strokes became a thing, but they are the thing, and this one was rad. Now, for me personally, I like, you know, an inline 4-cylinder 1000cc engine, and if you haven't seen some of the other creations on this channel, I suggest you go back and look at some of the early videos. We've done several things that were powered by 1000cc bike motors. This engine is going to end up in something, I guarantee you that. It can't go in this though. This has to stay electric. We'll bump up the power on this thing as the build develops. But it's real early in the morning and I need to get started. I'm out here and I literally only have a couple of days, 2, maybe 3 days to do this whole thing. And it's got to run and drive, deliver it to my buddy, and let's watch. The first thing I needed to do was understand how this electric piece of equipment worked, and I did learn that they carry a lot of voltage inside of the controller after you've disconnected it. So I began stripping down the CRF150, assessing which parts I was going to use, and lining up how I'd attach that triple clamp. I gave it a couple of different rakes and decided to go with one that was rather steep. It handles quicker, it's not so lazy, and it might be more fun. The rear suspension, I lost a ton of footage on this portion of the build, and I know it's the one that most people want to see, but I can't give you that. All I can give you is what it looks like when it's done. I painted everything black, including the plastic. I cleaned it up, and I tested it out. I couldn't have been more happy, so I tagged it, built and created by Grenade Motorsports. Gotta love the torque of an electric motor, boy. Look at that. Yeah. The real question, at least on my mind, For my money, I want to know, sure, it's not that fast. We'll get a speed controller. We can make it faster. But for my money, I want to know, will it wheelie? Let's find out. Oh, it just might do it. As soon as you hit the brake to stop it, it kills the electric motor, so. Oh, we're gonna have some fun with that tomorrow. So how did it come out? Well, in my opinion, it came out better than I could have expected. And again, you always want more power. But one thing I was not lacking while we drove it for several days at the show out of town, you can do a full throttle, full speed downhill, 2-foot drop off like no problem. This thing was built to last. I did get it to wheelie all the way down the street. It was hilarious. We had a great time. And guess what happened to the Moto-Trike at the end of it all? A cool young dude that had a knee injury bought it, and he now is enjoying it with his family, and he doesn't have to ride what he called one of those silly old man scooters. So we're all happy about it. The car show was great. The build was great. If you like what you saw, please stay tuned to the channel. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share everywhere you see fit. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.